Craft Brewed Sports Cincinnati Style is brought to you by Dugout Mugs. We got the hookup for you. Just go to dugoutmugs.online/craft for 10% off your entire order. That's it. No need to use a code. Just use the link and get 10% off directly on your order. That's dugoutmugs.online/craft.
Cincinnati Style is also brought to you by More Labs. Drink one bottle of morning recovery while you're partying and bounce back quickly, guaranteed the next morning. Go to morelabs.com and use the code SPORTS at checkout for 20% off your non-subscription purchase.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Craft Brewed Sports Cincinnati Style. I am Mike. With me as always is Scott. Over there behind the computer is Joe. Joe, how you feeling tonight?
What it do, baby?
There he is. He's back. He threw us for the curveball last week, but this week he's back. Scott, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good.
Really good?
No, just good.
Oh, okay. Can you ask me how I'm doing?
How are you doing?
I'm great, baby. The Reds are going to the series. Yeah! I'm so excited.
The divisional series for all of those of you who
I don't
who
care
thought he meant
which
anything
series.
else.
I just want to see the postseason. That's all I care about. This is Craft Brewed Sports Cincinnati Style, where our takes are just like the chili. If you're not from here, you're going to hate it. I'm beyond excited for this week. The Reds have shored up the outfield. They are a contender, just like I was feeling last year at this time.
Are they, though?
In this episode, we're going to talk about Scott and Joe bringing me back to earth, reining me in.
Mostly that.
We're also going to get into FC Cincinnati and their crazy trade move, roster move this week. And then we'll talk some Xavier UC basketball. And as always, Scott going to do that hockey.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that hockey. There's all that hockey to do.
Is there a lot of hockey to do this time?
Sure.
We going to do that hockey?
Yeah.
Lots of hockey to do.
All the doing.
All right. Well, we will do that hockey in a little bit.
We're going to get all up in that hockey. What? Say something wrong? Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm good. Go ahead. You were saying?
Let's go ahead and let's talk some Reds.
Who? Can we get the Bengals drop this week since last week we got Marty for the Bengals?
No, we got the Bengals drop, or we got the Marty drop for the Cyclones, so we should get the.
So
yeah.
Cyclones drop for Reds?
Yeah, let's do that. Joe,
Okay.
go ahead and hit the Cyclones horn for the Reds here, and we will go ahead. We're all screwed up already? All right, we got it. Joe's on it. Joe is the consummate professional over there. Let's talk Reds baseball.
And this one belongs to the Reds.
Scott.
I'm already ready to rein you in. Just that, Scott. Pump the brakes, man.
Scott.
Stop.
Scott. The Reds miss out on Ozuna. That was obviously the big target in right field. But they land another signing instead.
Who that is?
And now the Reds are playoff contenders.
I know, but who?
Right?
Who is it that they signed? Because I need to hear you say. I need to hear you say
need to hear
his
me
name.
say Nick Castellanos. Is that what you need to hear me say?
Oh, that's weird because just before the show you said something else. Was it more along the lines of the gringo version of it?
It was very gringo. It was
Yeah,
super
yeah.
gringo how I said it before.
It was.
That's fair.
You went OWG with the
I do
pronunciation.
slip into that. I do slip into that ODG every
Okay, I
night.
just want to make sure that you knew.
Yeah, I knew.
Okay, cool.
I knew.
Cool.
Bro, we just recorded another show.
Did we? Wait. What was that other show?
That was Craft Brewed Sports Regular Style.
Regular Style. Okay. I don't know that we've ever referred to that, but okay.
It should
Craft
be.
Brewed Sports Missionary.
Drink responsibly.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, but Nick Castellanos signs a 4-year, $64 million deal. He is essentially the Reds' right fielder now going forward. That shores up the outfielder. Now you have Shogo at center field. You have Castellanos in right field. You got Winker at left. You're going to put in Irvin every once in a while. Probably going to trade Senzel. The infield, we've already talked about.
Wait, hold on, back up. Are they really going to do that? Like the trade Senzel part?
That's the rumors. The rumors is to trade off Senzel and bring in a high-quality shortstop. Like, he's been linked to trying to get Lindor in there because right now you got Galvis playing shortstop.
Sure.
And
I will say that, I mean, if they could get somebody like Lindor, then sure. Then all of a sudden I'm on this Reds hype train a little bit. But the problem is, like, Senzel has been the Senzel hype train has been real for about 3 or 4 years now, where he was untradeable, and
I would
now all
kind
of a
of hate.
sudden he's gone to he's going to be the centerpiece of a deal.
Well, I would kind of
Seems
hate.
weird.
I would hate for them to move Senzel. I think that dude is going to end up being fantastic, and especially with a team that's rebuilding ? He's
The
a guy.
Reds?
Yeah.
Or the Indians in that case.
Well, no, the Reds, because the Reds are in this weird state where it's like, are they rebuilding? Because then they make moves like this, and they're not
but it
really
would be flipped,
rebuilding.
because if the Indians make this deal, it would be clear that they're moving on
They're-
and
right.
ready to like jumpstart their
Right, but this
rebuilding
is what
process.
we've talked about before, where it's like, okay, if the Reds make that move, let's say hypothetically they trade Senzel and a couple other prospects, and they get Lindor in return.
Then they're all in.
Right, this is like the year. There is no more rebuild. You are all in on this season, right? And as we saw in the hype video that Joe found before the show from the Power Stacks on YouTube, the machine is rebuilt at that point, right? Like, that is it. You are all in on this season. It's a go.
A lot of Trevor Bauer in that.
There was a lot of Trevor Bauer in that.
Is that a good thing?
I mean,
Bauer outage coming to Cincinnati.
I can't wait till he starts chucking balls over center field in Great American Ballpark. That's what I know it didn't happen last year, but I really want to.
Now, to be fair, though, if he does chuck any balls into the outfield and they go over the wall, it will be 100% less impressive than when he did it at Kauffman Stadium, because the walls at Great American Ballpark are Little League style. when it
Can
comes
we
to Major League
change?
Baseball,
I've
so
been meaning to
there's
ask
that.
about this. Can we change, like, right now?
No, we cannot change the fact that their walls are Little League style.
No. In between the power stacks, there's the sign that's like, Reds hit it here and win a Toyota Tundra, and like that's the giveaway. Like if a player hits a home run, can we change that to if Trevor Bauer throws a ball and
Here?
hits that sign, somebody wins a Toyota Tundra? Can we switch that giveaway up
That would be impressive, because dead center field, if he throws it that far, then
right into
yeah.
the power stack? Let's do it.
Sure.
Right, that should be.
Then
that
it would go to
should
a
be the
good
promo.
cause. Like, he wouldn't have to apologize to anybody and just
Right.
be like, hey, I was
Just
trying to win this guy a Toyota.
Every time Trevor Bauer gets taken out of the game, launch it into center field, try to hit the sign, somebody wins a Toyota Tundra.
Actually, that would be a hilarious way for the Reds to flip it on the Indians.
It needs such a troll.
By embracing
Right,
the
right.
throw into the center field. Like,
I don't appreciate that from you both.
But no, seriously, like, I would totally like be like, wow, that's it. You could see right through it. It'd be transparent as all hell. But it would be funny if they were like, no, Trevor Bauer's here. Now we're totally embracing the fact that he throws. Like, forget the OWGs up in Cleveland. Like, we love the fact that he's off his hinges and just chucks it into center field. Like, Bell runs out to the mound and like elaborately hands him the ball and is like, here you go, Trevor. Like, you're getting taken out of the game. But before you do, win this man a Toyota Tundra.
It's the only time that fans get super pumped when the starter gets pulled, because it's like, come on, Trevor!
Trevor has a rough day. He's out in 3, but fans are cheering. Like, yeah, he gave up 12, but somebody's gonna win a Toyota.
Fans, which would fans be more excited about? Bauer throwing it at the power stacks or going for the 11th strikeout for free pizza?
That's a tough.
Who would
Pizza.
I'll
More
check
people
Pizza.
get
You think
pizza.
pizza?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because only one
That's
person
true.
gets the Tundra.
Yeah, but I mean,
everybody gets pizza.
I've lived here since 2003. I've never seen somebody win the Tundra. I've never seen them win it.
Nobody hits it that far.
But didn't somebody win it one time? Like, Google this, but I thought and I could be wildly mistaken. I thought that there's been one time that it was hit, and I thought it was Adam Dunn.
I feel it could have been Adam Dunn. He's probably the only one that could have
Or at least
also, how
he
did
was the
Adam
only one
Dunn
who ever
not
hit it
make
in
the Hall of Fame?
vicinity.
By the way,
The Reds Hall of Fame, or
the MLB Hall of Fame.
the same Hall of Fame that Marvin Lewis is in with the statue downtown? Like, wait, which Hall of Fame are we talking about? There's a lot of Hall of Fames.
No, okay. No one has ever hit the promotional sign. I think what they do is at the end of the season, Toyota takes down that Tundra and then they like raffle it off
So-
or like do some
so-
giveaway.
Okay, so nobody's
So in
actually hit it for the
2018,
promo.
in 2018, there was somebody did win the car because they changed the rules. So no one has actually ever hit the promotional Toyota sign.
According to the rules established.
Correct.
Okay.
Then in 2018, they decided to change the rules that if a ball came close enough in the general vicinity, you could win.
See,
Jesse Winker
and that-
hit a home run,
I was just gonna say, like,
and
that's where I
it
must
was
have
in
had it.
3 inches of the sign, and they won in 2018.
How do you judge that? Like, who's sitting there like, sorry, 3.5?
well,
It
see,
was 3.5.
Toyota dealers acted quickly and determined that for this occasion, one time only, close is good enough.
No, this is
So
garbage.
it wasn't predetermined. It was just like, we've had this thing sitting here for 10 years.
I'm out of this. I would rather them just have Bauer throwing it into center field. That is way more than, it was close.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's the difference between the two, it
Thank you,
absolutely is more impressive if somebody from the mound chucks it out there, hits where it's supposed to be hit, and they're like, you just want to Toyota Tundra. Like, that's, talk about a Bauer outage.
All right, let's talk about the signing. So with Castellanos coming on board in a 4-year deal, that puts your boy on the bench. AA. Aquafina is now on the
Aquafina,
bench.
No more. That's
But
ballsy.
that's not bad, right? Like, with the way that dude bombed towards the end of the season, like, he started off hot and then totally tanked at the end of the season. He may be the type of guy that it's just like, nah, he comes in late in the game and he's the one that we go to. We call on him.
No, I wouldn't even say it that far. Like, if you say he's the fourth outfielder just in general, where he starts 2 or 3 games a week and he goes out there and gives you, and he's just hitting dingers because that's what he does, and his exposure is limited. If you limit it as his at bats, and he's not out there every day, where it's like, well, he had 400 plus ABs, and well, he only hit this much, looks much less impressive than if you say, well, he was only a part-time starter, but in this amount of at bats, he had this many home runs, and like the average looks like he's a better player.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden becomes this super valuable piece versus a guy who, we ran him out there every day, and he hit this many dingers, but he also batted .230, so it was rough. Like it's the difference between that. Like you value him as a guy that is a spot starter, fourth outfielder, but not an everyday guy. Like those dudes totally have. And when you're talking about like potential playoff teams and situations like that, like that is a guy that you for sure want.
Okay, let's talk about this lineup real quick. As we go through this, look at now that Castellanos is in, the outfield is going to be essentially Winker, Shogo, Castellanos. In the infield...
Wait, back up real quickly, because I was unsure about the Shogo signing when it was first done. He's an everyday guy? Like, is that...
He's likely going to be their everyday center fielder.
Okay, because,
Yeah.
the only reason I ask is because when they signed him, it was like, well, he's an everyday guy in Japan, but they weren't sure how it would translate, and he's got the speed, like defensive, like he sounded like a slightly better hitting Billy Hamilton, so I wasn't sure if that actually meant,
Sounds amazing.
right, but I mean,
Although
slightly better
slightly
hitting,
better, that's not...
but that's what I'm
that's
saying.
not
Slightly better hitting means he hits 240 instead of 210, so...
Wait a second. Do they have to bat him below the pitcher in the lineup? No. Then it's good. I'm on board.
Well, or does, Bell force the issue and have him in the leadoff spot because he's, still dealing with, well, he's the fastest guy on the team, so
Center
he's
fielder,
got to
that's what
be
we
the
gotta do.
leadoff hitter.
So early depth chart predictions have Shogo, Senzel, and Castellanos in the outfield with Winkler
Wow.
and Aquafina as your 2
So they're
backups.
moving Shogo to left field.
Wait, and who in center?
Senzel.
Senzel.
and
See, and that's-
Castellanos and right.
Right, and that's why I'm so
Okay.
confused about like the whole sends out trade rumors, because it's like he's gone from he's our third baseman of the future, like hands down won't trade him, to well we'll maybe put him in left, but he can also play some second and short, and
Well, it's
and then,
because
like,
Suarez
they-
is
they
a
messed around
beast,
with the
and
third.
you can't. He's
but-
blocked.
Right. Okay. So even if he moved off of third, I'm still confused how he went from untouchable, like because of his bat. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
his bat has been like, well, we can't move this guy because he's going to be an
Big
amazing
ol'
hitter.
stick. He
Right.
got
so
a
it's
big
like,
ol' stick.
Right. We're going to put him in left, and like, all right, we've even been trying him out at second, and then they tooled around him with him at short. And so the idea that they're like, now we'd be willing to move him for an everyday shortstop. Like I get it, because a shortstop, one that can defensively carry his own and offensively be competent, invaluable no matter what.
Not
team
only
you
that,
are.
that is the glaring weak spot
Sure.
in that Reds infield. Like if you look at that infield with Votto at first, Moose at second, Suarez at third, Galvis at short.
Right, but the only problem, I guess, with the trade scenario is Lindor would be a rental. So, are you willing to do this? This is clearly the Reds pushing all their chips in the middle, no matter what. And they're saying this is World Series or bust because we're getting rid of the guy that we said was the future for the last 4 years for a guy that will only be here for like a year, maybe two.
I'm glad you brought that up because Lance McAllister pointed out that with the Castellanos signing, he's got an opt-out after 2020, like a player option after 2020.
So glad that you brought that up. But go ahead.
So he's got, not only does he have an opt-out after 2020, he also has an opt-out after 2021. So in this 4-year deal that's worth $64 million, it could end up being a 1-year, $14 million deal. So, when you're looking at it from that perspective, it's almost like the Reds are assuming this is the year, and if it doesn't happen this year, Castellanos is probably going to bail and walk and go somewhere else.
Well, you say that, but the only problem is because I saw Lance McAllister's tweet and I was like, okay, that it definitely makes the deal sound like if you're one of those people that are like, not crazy about this deal, it makes it sound better. The only problem is when it's a player's option, you get that nervous feeling because if everything doesn't go correctly and Castellanos is like has a down year, because it's a player's option, he can be like, hey, it's cool. I'm opting back in because I won't make this money anywhere else. And now you're screwed with
stuck.
this.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
now
fair.
You're screwed with this albatross.
However, the stat that I saw, and I talked about it before the show, highest
Here it
OPS,
goes.
highest OPS at Great American Ballpark, minimum 13 at bats, Castellanos. That's all I'm saying. I mean, the dude. Granted, that was in 4 games, and that's fine. That's fine. But he had 13 at bats
one of those
at least.
classic baseball stats where
Dude,
it's like,
that's the best.
On a Tuesday, in night games, with 13 minimum at bats, Castellanos, greatest hitter in American ballpark history, hands down. Like, there's no other way of looking at it. And when you look at it, you're like, yeah, well, the stats don't lie. That's right. Just have to hope that every game that the Reds play is on a Tuesday night. Every single game.
So the other side of the ball,
so
people are talking that the bullpen and the rotation are looking pretty top notch nowadays.
The best rotation
Looking
in
pretty-
the National League.
You're looking at
Mark it.
Castillo, Sonny Gray, Trevor Bauer, Wade Miley, and DeSclafani as your 5 with Lorenzen, Amir, and Iglesias is pretty much rounding out your bullpen plus some others.
Tell me that is not a World Series caliber pitching staff. I know you're all
That
excited.
is not a World Series caliber pitching staff.
I know you're all
I mean,
excited.
you'll move Sclafani when come
Sure.
playoffs. You'll throw him in the rotation.
On a serious note, on paper, if the Reds are going to do anything
Say
on name
Say it.
basis alone.
Say it.
right.
Say what I want you to say right now. Say it.
If you
On
throw out
paper.
everything on paper, like just looking at the rotation,
Say it. Say it.
the
Say it.
reason
Say
that the Reds are going
Say
to
it.
make the playoffs is their pitching.
Yeah!
No, I mean, because
It's because that Wade Miley signing. That's
yeah,
what did it.
That actually was the tipping point. It was like, you know what? I don't think they can hack this, but Wade Miley. No, but like, all jokes aside, like their pitching, like when you look at their names and the potential that is assigned to each one of those guys, and assuming the Sonny Gray that we got last year is the Sonny Gray that they get this year, like that is a very
Assuming the Castillo we got last year is the Castillo we get this year.
No, because see,
I know that dude's the ace, and that's the.
I think that's like a lock. That is
saying-
more.
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying,
but that's
like,
more of a lock than Sonny Gray.
Well, yeah, it's more of a lock than Sonny Gray, but I feel like that's still not a lock.
Sure,
It's
okay,
definitely not a lock
but
that
that's what I'm saying,
Castillo
like-
does, because that dude balled the hell out last year.
But if you dial it back to just thinking about like each one of these individual names and what they're capable of, the idea that Castillo could be the ace and give you those 9 Ks per 8 innings or whatever
Pizza
crazy,
man.
yeah,
Pizza
whatever
man.
crazy stat is, like him being that is much more likely than probably anything else in the rotation. Like all the question marks, if you put like what Trevor Bauer are we gonna get?
That's the
Like,
thing. People are
nobody
saying
knows.
that like right now they have at least 4 people that at one point in time were at least the number 1 people on
Right.
previous teams.
On a staff.
Castillo, Sonny Gray, Bauer, and
Even Wade-
Sclafani.
even Wade
could
Miley.
they were all
At your fifth.
one. They could be ones previous years before. So
Right.
if they all collectively
And that-
be average to good,
Right,
you're looking good.
That's why, like, Reds fans, if you're a Reds fan, like, I get where you're coming
Can
from.
we keep talking about our rotation being ones? Can we just keep saying that? Can we just keep saying that over and over and over and over again?
That's fine. I'm like, that's where the optimism comes from. It's not from, like, Castellanos.
jinx.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say Castellanos, like, to me, isn't necessarily like the tipping point. Like, I feel like offensively they were gonna be okay this year because of the moves that they made, but it's like a full year of Bauer, having everybody being the best that they could be, like, that's your best bet. Because what are you looking to do? You're looking to shut down the Cubs, who have a high-powered offense. That ain't gonna come from your offense.
Get out of here, Cubs. They're in shambles. They're done.
No.
Get
I know.
rid of them.
And I agree with you. The Cubs are like a confusing bunch, but I'm saying, like, their strength right now, their offense.
Yeah.
So you need the pitching to come out and shut down the Cubs. The Brewers started losing all their pieces, so it's like, they're not. The Cardinals snuck into the division last year. Their offense isn't scary, but again, I feel like their strength is their offense. Like, they've got a couple of decent pitchers, but then it really falls off. If the Reds are going to win this division and do what everybody thinks that, like, right now they can do, it's going to be because of their pitching. So if that pitching, for whatever reason, blinks at any point and they start to struggle, then it's going to be the same old Reds.
And it's not even that. It's just if an injury happens.
Sure.
You got nothing.
Right,
Like,
it's because the
you're
depth right now is
the depth is
absolutely
terrible.
zero.
It's terrible. Something happens, like you get somebody that's got some elbow soreness,
Right.
we're screwed. It's done. However, if everybody stays healthy, if everybody performs how they should perform, this team is going to the playoffs. It's happening.
So if you want to talk about the rest of the division, champions last year Cardinals have basically done nothing. Except lose Ozuna.
Yeah.
And then they signed
which for their
lefty.
offense is quite a big loss because they didn't have a lot of firepower to begin with. So that's a big loss
That's a
for them
huge
if they
loss
don't do
for them.
anything.
They lost now we go to the Brewers.
They lost some
Moots,
stocks,
They lost
right?
a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Addition and subtraction.
Basically, they just did Scotch tape repair over the free agency. Cubs
have done absolutely nothing, which is
and
weird.
And there's rumors of Bryant might be moved out.
Yep.
Right, like if they
and
don't come out of the gate, the gates
Cole
gangbusters will be gone.
Hamels is no longer
He's
there.
now a Brave.
And then Pirates are Pirates.
The Pirates, I saw a stat that
Well,
the
and
Pirates,
they lost Marte. They traded Marte, so I mean that
Yeah.
instantly makes their offense worse, which wasn't very good to begin
I don't know
with, so.
I don't know where I saw the article, and I just saw the headline, but it said that the Pirates' payroll coming into this season is like $41 million. Like it is like god awful trash. They
So
don't.
you mean the amount
care.
that the Astros should have been fined to detour cheating? Like that's the amount that it would have been like, whoa, $41 million? Yeah, we can't do this cheating thing. The
Pirates-
$5 million was like, but seriously, $41 million? There's teams paying that to like one guy.
Right.
So, out of everybody, the Reds obviously finally for once went out and spent in free agency. Does this push them up in the division?
Yep.
It's a very
Yep.
winnable division,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, no,
Yep.
I mean, this is 2 years in a row that I'd argue that the Reds spent more than their their counterparts and like were trying harder when you just look at the way they
And they
structured
weren't
the offseason.
quick buys like Puig, where it's like, all right, we're
Sure.
trading for him and we're gonna quick sell him.
I know you guys still get on me about that Puig trade, but I will go to the grave defending that trade because it got them out of the Homer Bailey contract. It opened up all of this stuff this year. Like it doesn't. Puig is a rental, fine. Matt Kemp doesn't make it like a month into the season, fine. You don't have to pay Homer Bailey anymore. That's the best. That's the best part of that whole trade.
And you know what? I will give you that because the Braves did a similar thing during their rebuild when it was like B.J. Upton. Didn't matter. Yes, they traded Kimbrel in that trade, and everybody was like, well, why would you trade Kimbrel? And it's like, yeah, we're going to suck, so there's no reason for a closer. But the principle of that was no longer are you paying B.J. Upton millions of dollars to suck every day.
Let's look at how that played out too, because then they trade Puig and they get Bauer back. So you get out from the Homer Bailey contract and get Bauer Like, essentially, you traded Homer Bailey and that god-awful contract for Bauer. I would take that deal 10 out of 10 times. Absolutely. There's no question. It doesn't. Not only, and then it's fun to watch Puig play. Like, you got to watch Puig for half a season, and he led your offense in home runs for 90% of the season.
No, doesn't he still lead? It's like Eugenio Suarez
the
and
season.
like he's still.
I think he finished the season in second
I was
place.
going to
in home
say
runs.
he's still the second leading run producer in the Reds lineup and no longer plays for the Reds. He's still a free agent. He doesn't even play for the Indians. He's signed with nobody.
How has he not come back? Like, I thought for sure he was going to be the guy that they brought back because there was all that.
Hold on. To be fair, this MLB offseason has been insane, and this is first offseason in like 3 years
Are you
that
telling me?
anybody has signed before March.
That's a good point. Are you telling me Puig might come back? Are you telling me Puig might come back?
No, their outfield is set after Castellanos. Like if the longer Castellanos didn't go sign, they definitely could have brought Puig back, but I don't think that. Like now, you're not bringing him back to be just muck up the outfield. Plus, as much as Cincinnati faithful loved Puig, like it would be a detriment to team chemistry to bring back a guy like that.
At this point, you don't bring him back.
Right.
But man, he would have if he had re-signed with the Reds. Like if he had come back,
this city would lose.
oh
their
man,
mind.
you think I'm excited? Like right now, imagine all of Reds Nation.
Like before Marvin's statue went up, they'd already be putting a Puig statue up. Like they would be like, "Oh, he resigned, statue today." Like they would be casting it when he was "Oh, look that's him signing the contract. It's a statue of him signing his contract to re-sign him." Yeah, it was only 1 year, but we got to get it up before we.
Well, they're already going to have a statue at first base playing, so it really doesn't mean anything to put up another one.
Gotcha.
You want to talk some FC Cincinnati?
Wait, is there an FC Cincinnati?
Real
news?
quick, we don't even have to do any. You don't have to do any crazy graphics change, Joe.
This is news to me that there's FC Cincinnati news.
Fernando Adi, who was the first
Isn't that a car?
signing. Yes,
Okay,
it
cool.
is. Yeah, it's a car, and also the first guy that FC Cincinnati signed while they were still in USL. They signed him as like, this is our first MLS player. He was the guy that it seemed like they were going to build a franchise around. He is now no longer part of the team. The team has opted out, and he now plays for the Columbus Crew. So cool.
So Jenny from Houston is just amazingly.
I got a
happy,
text.
guess?
I got a text from my buddy Nick, who is a big time Columbus Crew fan, and he was like, "Dude, FC Cincinnati is paying Adi more to play for the Crew than they are for him to play for FC Cincinnati."
Yeesh. That's not a good look. That's
The-
something Cincinnati's accustomed to.
Well, it's there's been so much change in the front office at that organization that I don't even and admittedly I'm still learning the MLS game and all the crazy
I'm still
weird
learning that
rules.
there's MLS news at this time of year. So, sure.
But
is.
FC Cincinnati did win against Phoenix Rising FC 3-0 in a friendly. I do love that they call exhibition games friendlies. That's kind of fun.
It was the first official game of the 2020 MLS preseason.
3-0. FC Cincinnati with a W, so you know what that means.
Everybody's back on the bandwagon.
Going to the cup, baby! Going to the cup. Here we go. Boom.
Means all the hipsters are right back in.
Last year at UC, we're last year at Nippert, and we're ending it with the MLS Cup. Boom. Mark it. Adi's gone. We got rid of him. Boom. MLS Cup.
Well, I mean, with their 12th head coach in their history and the first ever Asian sign of the day, yeah, there's no doubt. Like
Second GM, we got a new president of operations.
yeah, I
like
mean,
Birding's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So
there's
I'm out.
nowhere to go but up. That's the way I feel like. Like, you're right. Good times ahead for MLS.
Did Kubo score it all in that? And he didn't score it all. That's disappointing. But I do see that there were some Ray Ortiz assists. Ray Ortiz was one of the pickups in the draft. So
Isn't Ray Ortiz a wrestler?
yep, he sure is. Also, fun fact: Ray Ortiz for FC Cincinnati also plays with a luchador mask.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's...
He doesn't. I'm just.
I was just gonna say. I was like, wait, what?
Okay, all right, I need to stop here. No, stop. It's Rey Mysterio.
No. I know that. I wasn't trying to be like. I was trying to make the joke there, but the mask thing threw me because I'm legitimately like, is this a bench player who just sits there and is like, hey, I got this luchador mask on? Like, I thought that might have been a real thing. I'm like, damn.
And you are so gullible.
I won't deny that I fell
I just
for
need
that.
to get everybody to know that it's Rey Mysterio, not Ray Ortiz.
No, that part I knew. Like that was part of the joke. The genuine like surprise about wearing a luchador mask. No, I can't even. I gotta own that. Like I got duped. I'm like, wait, what?
I like that for at least 4 seconds in your mind. You can see it. Go back, everybody. Just hit rewind and go watch Scott process that for a second, because you can see in his head him thinking of a dude playing professional soccer,
Playing any type of
in
soccer.
a luchador mask. Like, you were
How does
really
that
picturing
happen?
that. You were like, this dude really does that. That's
What a man's man.
Let's talk some Xavier basketball.
Oh no.
It'll be quick because they are so
They're losing right now.
Are they really? They're losing right
They
now.
were when I checked. Let's see.
Yeah, we ain't zipping anybody up. Ching ching.
Zipping themselves up. The body bag right up over our heads.
Did you watch that the Creighton game when they did the Fox Sports All Access?
No, I watched the game itself. I missed the all access. The game itself was oddly like the first one. In fact, Xavier improved in the second game. They scored one more point than they did in that first loss.
I was very thrown off by all of the pink in the stadium because at
Xavier's
first
winning by 2 currently.
I thought my TV was out of whack because it was very pink because like Creighton was doing I don't know what the reason behind it
out.
was, but like their coach was wearing pink, the jerseys were like had pink in them, everybody in the crowd was wearing pink. I was very confused by what was going on, but Xavier ends up losing that game
By a lot.
But the All Access was actually kind of fun to watch. So they did a split screen where they had the game in a box, and then they had each coach was like mic'd up, and they had a camera on each coach, and they had that in a split screen. So you got to hear the coaches like rag the refs, and you got to hear them kind of like get in their players' asses when they messed up. Travis Steele really likes that kill thing. Like he's a freak about that. Like you hear him on the sidelines yelling about kills constantly. If I had tickets at Cintas behind the Xavier bench, I would freaking hate kills. I would hate it just based on how much Travis Steele yells about it.
Man, we joked about this to start the season. Before anything got underway, I was like, this is going to be the fun stat. Now it's become the stat that I'm like, get that stat all the way the F up out of here. Because it's one of those things that I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter if we have 9,000 kills. We lost the game.
Well, that's the problem. We're not getting enough kills because 97% of the time when you have 7 kills, which is 3 possessions in a row then you win 97% of the time or whatever this stat
The
was.
other team's getting all the kills.
Yeah, we are getting killed.
Killed.
Is what's happening.
Very annoying. Like seriously, like just there's been frustrating seasons with Xavier. And
The game is currently tied with 30 seconds left.
Yep, and we've like seen it coming, so it wasn't like necessarily as bad. But like this season, where it was like, all right,
Number 15 to start the season.
Right, like
Here we go,
supposed to
baby.
Get back to, and it's just been like, no, this team is bad.
When does Steele start feeling the warmth on the seat?
I think at the end of
Next year.
Yeah,
Next year,
like-
you're going to give him this year.
Well, no, I mean, I think that the chatter like starts though at the end of this year. Like if they don't, make a run in the Big East tournament, because at this point that's the only way they're making the tournament. Yeah, and they're not going to. So if they don't have a really good showing, anything outside of a Big East conference tournament final, it'll be like, did we make the right choice? What's going on? I mean, I have friends who have already said.
I also have friends that are like,
this is a wash. Like
we
this is,
screwed
like,
this up.
This is wrong. Like
This
is
was the first time the in-house. Yes,
right,
yes,
yeah.
the in-house
The
hire
in-house is like
backfired.
it is time to move away from the in-house.
Also
Like,
down 1
and
with 9 seconds.
I haven't gotten there yet. But I'll tell you what, at the end of this year, if things progress the way they have, like starting the minute that next year starts, the man is on notice, because you can't have 3 years where it's like, yeah, this was just an utter disappointment.
Especially
like,
with
from the
recruiting
word
classes
go.
like you're getting.
Right.
Like these are dudes that are they.
Well, and that's
under
why
any other coach.
Well, and that's why I'm giving him the leeway that he has, because it's like, all right, well, the recruiting is still there. Like, you're still getting recruiting classes, but if you came in to the head coaching job as like part of the reason you got it is because you were this master recruiter, and they wanted to keep that pipeline going. They didn't want to get rid of any of the guys, and they want to keep that. Like, if you can't flip that into coaching them up and turning them into good players, then all of a sudden it becomes, well, you're just the guy.
You're just a
good
recruiter,
enough, like
bro.
you're just good
Yeah.
enough to recruit. And
Yep.
so it's like we got to start thinking, do we get somebody in here who can actually turn these recruits into something? Because guys have either regressed, stayed the same, or not done anything so far under him. And it's like, it's getting to the point where it's like disheartening. Last year, you do whatever. It's the first year, I don't take anything. This year, it's frustrating, but I haven't like given up on it. Next year will be the test. Like that third year, it's like, you better show me something. I better see some big strides.
You gotta show me something, Trav.
Yeah, beating UC ain't enough.
Do you miss the A10?
No, I don't miss the A10.
No, like it hasn't gotten to that. Like because at this point, it's like
Chris Mack. I do.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
okay.
I miss Chris Mack.
Well,
I
no,
miss him.
Well, it's not
Sorry.
missing. It's
I miss
not-
him in his blue shirts, and he doesn't look right in red shirts, and I hate it. I'm sorry.
That is weird.
It's weird.
It's not. It's
He
not.
doesn't have the skin complexion. Trust me, as a guy that looks like this, there are certain people that can't pull off red shirts.
It's not.
Chris Mack is
missing-
one of them.
It's not necessarily missing Chris Mack. It's missing the idea of like.
I miss wins.
Yeah. Like it's missing that like idea that like no matter who we put in that seat, they're gonna succeed. Like this is the first time, and you knew like at some point that like that luck was gonna run out, right? Like Xavier wasn't always just gonna be able to hire somebody on staff, the hot
Right.
name on
Well,
staff,
that's-
and like keep the train rolling.
Oh, are we going to OT?
And
We're going to
maybe it's finally happened, but it's like that first guy was always going to be like the fall guy of, well, this experiment's over, time to end this. Like now that they're in the Big East, you can no longer do that. Hey,
Right.
we'll just hire the hot guy on staff and keep it moving. Like,
Well, and now
you may
you're
have to go outside the box and start like when they said, "Hey, we're doing a nationwide search." No. You might actually
Do it.
have to
Right.
do a
Actually
nationwide
do
search
a
and, like,
nationwide search,
Not
yes.
settle for the guy who's already in house. Like as difficult as that sounds, like it's the truth. Like I mean,
No, you're
like
100%
and after
right.
next year, like the noise will be loud enough that Xavier is a position now where they can no longer like ignore it. Like
By the way,
they're gonna have to do something,
Najee hit a 3 to tie that game up to send it to overtime with 2 seconds to go.
and that's the problem.
They finally hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah, no, that's the problem though.
National championship. Here we
No,
go.
I mean,
Here we go.
but that's the problem with this team. Like, there's so many like parts and
There's
so many
no
things
reason.
about that. Like,
There's no reason why you should need a
OT to beat
3-pointer.
Marquette.
to
Actually,
beat
they're
Marquette.
they're shooting 42% from 3 tonight.
Also,
8 of 19.
Also, they've taken 19 3-pointers for a team that should maybe take
5.
7. I was gonna say 7. Like that was gonna be my. I was gonna give them 10 maybe.
If I can go OWG, not great free throw shooters. 7 of 17 right now. Those
That's
free points.
disgusting.
7 of 17.
Like I know the game of basketball has changed and like the 3-point shot is the shot that you're supposed to be taking, but this team shouldn't be taking that shot.
In retrospect, Marquette has 16 free throws and they've made 14 of them.
They also went 7 for 20 from behind the arc.
They made one less and shot one more.
Yeah, 7 for 20.
And X is 8 of 19.
Let's talk UC basketball.
Like that's more
Well,
that's more deficiency by Marquette than us doing well.
There was a 20, so it makes it seem way worse than 19. It seems way worse. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
All right.
no. Once you hit that point,
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk some UC basketball. Briefly. So
Because
when
if I'm anybody who plays Xavier, I'm actually backing off. If guys go spot up for 3,
my
I'm like,
go for it, bro. You got
good luck. Oh, you hit one? Damn. Well, I guess we'll have to outscore you in overtime, which shouldn't be too hard.
I want to start off this UC basketball segment by saying I apologize. On behalf of the show, I apologize. And
You have no idea what they did the past couple days?
we got a message from a good friend of the show, Matt Stanton, previous guest, who called us out on our lack of AAC knowledge in the conference in general. We have been saying all this time hey, the AAC is going to be lucky to get one team in. They're going to be a one bid team in the conference, in the tournament. They're a one bid conference. Blah blah blah. Matt Stanton sends us a message that goes, "Listen, guys, I think the show is getting better." Which
That's progress.
dig off the bat, but I dig it. I appreciate it. Thank you for acknowledging it's getting better.
That was our 7 for 20 moment.
He
We're
said,
having a good night.
He said, I like the show. I think you're doing great. I love you guys. I preface that all so that I can tell you how wrong you are about the AAC. And he said they're going to get 3 teams in the tournament.
See, now last week, I said 2 teams last week, assuming that, but 3?
But your
Wow.
assumption of 2 was based on
winning the
Memphis
tournament who wasn't
not winning the
Memphis?
tournament.
Sure.
Yeah, you said Memphis and somebody who else.
Well, then I did research for the show today, and I was like, wait, hold on a second. They play Houston next week, and Houston's 21?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I was like, that's interesting. Didn't know that last week.
And then on top of that, he pointed out, he was like, everybody forgets that Wichita State is in the American.
I
And that's a
do
team.
forget
I
that.
totally forgot. I was like, oh, shit, really? The Shockers? Okay, well, okay. Yeah, fair
So
enough.
right now, AAC has 2 people in the top 25. Houston at 21, Wichita State at 23. Memphis has just
Memphis
dropped
is right
out
there.
Yeah,
now
but
that they
they're
are finally dealing with the loss of the top freshman
Yeah.
in the class, and now they've lost a couple in a row here. But
But it's not crazy to think the AAC gets 3 teams. Like, this isn't. If you had told me before Matt sent that message that the AAC was going to get 3 teams, I'd be like, you are high. And then he sends that, and I start looking into it, and I'm like, damn, the AAC is probably going to get 3 teams. Like, Matt Stanton's 100% right. Matt Stanton is a very funny comedian. If you have a chance to go see him, do so. He is super funny and absolutely worth your time. Go check him out wherever you can.
and Dayton's still 7.
Ah!
Yeah. There's that. The only solace I take in Dayton being 7 is that I really feel like they're one of those teams that first weekend they're out. Like, they're the weakest top 10 teams you could ever
Here's
be.
what we need to happen. Dayton needs to play their way into a 1 seed, and they need to lose to a 16 seed. It has to happen. That's the only way. That's the only way I'm going to be happy with this.
They'll be a 2 or 3 if they keep going the way they're going.
And they also need to lose in the first week. Like,
It's possible.
Opening round. They have
They
to.
could lose to like a Baylor or Oklahoma in that first weekend as a 3 seed.
I hate that Dayton's so good. Or ranked so high. So UC ends up, so they've got Houston coming up on Saturday. This is their chance to kind of make a splash in the conference, make some noise. They are actually favored in this game according to ESPN's predictor. ESPN's predictor has them at 60% chance to win this one. What do you think, man? You think they...
Playing in Fifth Third Arena. It's a home game.
Sure.
No, I mean, I thought about it earlier when I was looking at this because I saw the stats and I just thought this is a very good chance for UC to distance themselves from Xavier because coming into tonight they had the identical 13-7 overall record, and UC hasn't played since Saturday, I believe.
I think that's right, yeah.
Sunday, one of the two, but whatever. They have a game, or no, they played
They
yesterday.
played yesterday against
and
SMU.
then they have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
game
yeah.
Saturday.
Right.
So they ended up coming into today with the same exact record as Xavier. Xavier's playing tonight, but they have the chance to distance themselves with this win, and I think they got a good shot of it. Like, it's not, it's at home. This is the type of shot that Xavier wishes they had, because Xavier's looking at it where it's like, gee, we don't have much chance to like show anything for the rest of the tournament. Where it's like, or for the rest of the time before the tournament. Whereas UC, it's like they're kind of in the catbird seat.
Right.
They control their own destiny. If they can win this one and kind of finish off the rest of the regular season, they have like a really good resume. Like,
Well,
just
we
looking
talked
at.
about Xavier doesn't have a resume. Like,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Xavier doesn't have anything to pin their hat on at all. Like, they have to at this point just focus totally on the tournament. Like, no matter what they do through the rest of the regular season, it's not really gonna matter. Whereas UC kind of controls their own destiny. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like, despite losing the Xavier game, they have the better chance for being the team in the city that represents.
which is always the case, it feels like.
Well, it's just really sad if you're a Xavier fan, because you beat UC and you're like, all right, like, things are heading in the right direction, and then you're gonna look up and it's like, How the hell did everything? What happened?
Can we get an NIT bid, please? Please, can you let us into the NIT? All right, let's Scott. Why don't we go ahead and do that hockey? We need to play that out. That's the problem. The chant needs to play out. That's the problem on that drop. But we need to. It's the goal horn and then let the chant play out. That's where it's not repeating.
Wasn't
it. Just
that the
let
finish of it though? Like it didn't even record. Like the drop we got. Like this.
Yeah, no, that was all it was.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that was
the
it.
full thing.
So let's talk some Cyclones hockey, Scott. Why don't you go ahead while I watch the rest of the Xavier game? Why don't you go ahead and do that hockey? I'm just gonna sit here and just watch this.
It was cool. It was a struggle though for this week because they played 2 games since we last did the show. They won one, they lost one. They were playing tonight. What happened in that game, Joe? Oh, cool, they won. Because
the Solar Bears.
Yeah, which we talked about was
What a
one of
good
our
team
I was gonna
name.
say was
The
one of our
Solar
more
Bears?
favorite. Tonight was Dollar Beer Night too. So
Dude, is Dollar Beer Night at the Cyclones is the greatest.
Okay, but are the beers even that? So it's
Miller
High Life
I'll
and
take
PBR.
I'll take a $1 High Life.
and it doesn't really matter because the beer being
I'm drinking the
$1.
PBR.
You're gonna go PBR over
I'm drinking
High
the
Life?
PBR.
Over the champagne.
Whoa.
The champagne
Are we
of
are we about
beers?
to have a fight right now?
We are about to have a fight. Miller High Life is definitely the better choice. over
PBR is the better drinking beer.
No, get out of here. Get out of here. Miller High Life is 100% a better.
False.
Dude.
False.
Dude.
My tower of PBR will be way bigger than your tower.
That's
of High
because
Life.
it's water. I'm actually drinking beer as I'm drinking Miller High Life. You're drinking water that's put in a beer can.
It doesn't matter. Beer pyramids are way cooler when they're bigger. Bigger is always better. I know you haven't heard that much, but bigger is always better. Scott, be the tiebreaker. High Life, PBR.
High Life or PBR?
PBR.
You son.
No, and here's
ahead. No,
why.
I'm just
Well,
gonna
here's
watch
why
this game.
Joe's right is because Miller High Life tries too hard. Like
The
PBR
champagne of beers. They sell it in a champagne bottle if you want. You can buy
Champagne's
a.
not good.
Right. Well, and that's
It actually champagne could be
right.
really good.
But that's why I'm saying they try too hard. Like PBR is like, hey, we're shit beer, drink us. Miller High Life is trying to be fancy, and it's like, no, you're just shit beer.
No, you are worth this $1.
Right. Like I embrace the beer that's like, we are who we are. Get us for $1 most nights. PBR. Whereas Miller High Life is like, hey, we got to have these fancy commercials.
I have
and we're doing all
never
this
heard
extra
Miller
shit.
High Life position themselves
Really?
as
You don't remember
like
those commercials?
No,
You don't remember
as
those
like-
the guy with the dolly and he had like
Yeah, the-
18 things. on
Yes,
his-
and that dude was the greatest. That guy was awesome.
You're
done.
still worth $1.
You're done.
Less than that dollar.
But Miller High Life has never been like, you should pay $9 for a bomber of
They
this
call
beer.
you
No.
champagne of beers. They expect you. It should be worth
But they've
more
never
than $1.
priced it that high. It's never been priced that high. It's all tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
you guys
no,
are
no,
missing
no,
the
no,
whole
no, no,
gag.
no, no, no.
You're
See-
missing the whole gag.
See-
It's the champagne of beers
PBR.
that sells for $3
no,
a six
I know,
pack.
I know.
When I was 18 years old, I gave
Sure.
a cashier $5 and I was like, "Can you get me a 6-pack of beer?" She got me Miller High Life because it was $5
So
for a
it's
6-pack.
nostalgic for you.
No,
it's, not even
it's
like
because
legit.
they've never.
No, I know, but like the reason that ironic campaign doesn't work is that the commercials themselves have always pretended to be like legit and serious. Like,
But it's
there's
all
no
tongue in
like.
cheek. It's not real.
But the commercials don't give themselves as
Get
tongue
out
in
of here.
cheek.
Get out of here.
They
Get all of you.
don't,
Get
like-
out of here.
Okay.
Miller High Life behind PBR.
So after tonight's win, Cyclones are now 2-1 since we last did the show.
They probably should drink more Miller High Life.
Yeah, no real super cool promos coming up Friday night. They've got a Jesse Schultz jersey giveaway for the kids.
Does it have a Miller High Life patch?
No, but we got to stop you talking about it. So, sure. I mean, you didn't go out. The official spokesman of Miller High Life over here. It's cool. Like, I'm just saying, PBR is
It's like
better for $1.
Hams, Miller High Life,
Oh,
PBR.
also, it's a 513 Friday, which means $5 craft beers, $1 sodas, and $3 cheeseburgers.
I'm
I
on board
did
now.
see. Well, I did
I'm
see
on
that.
board now
The
with
only
this.
thing,
$513 Friday.
Cheeseburgers?
right? But the only thing I didn't.
How- I'm sorry.
No.
They
It's
never
cool.
talk about cheeseburgers as like a promo. It's always hot dogs.
Right.
Cheeseburgers is
Hot
a
dogs or
solid
pizza.
promo, man.
Dollar hot dog,
and
dollar
that's
pizza.
also funny because it's like, well, what if I don't like cheese? Can I get it for slightly less than $3? Like, can I get it for like $2.50?
Can I get a $2.75 burger?
They're like, no, you must get it with cheese. It's 513 night, and this is the promo.
you scrape
like
that
a-
cheese off and you like it.
I would like a Royale with cheese.
Yeah. But I did think that was a funny promo. I didn't only because of like we just had this conversation about beer. I was like, well, what's their definition there at the Cyclones for craft beer?
Anything
think
that's
it's
not
local.
High Life or PBR.
So it's like Bud Light's craft.
Y'all like Coors Light? This craft Coors Light.
I mean, Mad Tree probably paid some money to be
Yeah,
in there.
I
Ryan
bet you
Geist
Ryan
probably
Geist
has
is
some
in there.
money.
I was
to be
gonna
in
say
there.
it's probably all local.
And Braxton. I bet
Yeah.
you those three, the biggest ones
you know,
down here.
Great Lakes somehow weasel their way into
Moreline
it.
probably has like their own booth of like 3
That's
beers.
true. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, 513 night. That's a solid promo. Well done, Cyclones. I like that. Also, props on the cheeseburger. Scott, thank you for doing that hockey. You are
I try. Like it was a struggle this week. Wasn't much hockey to do.
I'm starting to pick up on your doing that hockey. You're like, okay, what was
What
the
are the
record?
promos?
What's the promos?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't have anything else.
And the goalie's name is
Still don't know. And every week I'm sitting there at work. I'm like, Joe's gonna pose this goalie question, and I still don't know it. And F it, I'm just gonna go in tonight just with these promos and their record and hope for the best.
Can we pull the Youngstown card, Joe, and try to get that one goalie on the show? Like,
Michael Hauser. He won tonight.
I feel like we need to get that dude on the
Michael
show. Like,
Hauser
we
did
need
win
to
tonight.
pull the Youngstown card and be like, yo,
Do it.
2 Youngstown guys, a fan
And a
of-
black guy.
a fan of an NFL team
No,
who's
no.
owned by a Youngstown guy.
No, I know, but I don't even go that far. Just like 2 Youngstown guys and a black guy. And we just want to talk hockey
I don't know why that.
because they were like, wait a minute, a black guy that wants to talk hockey? I'm in.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
sympathy
okay.
card.
I thought you meant like Youngstown. I was like, have you been to Youngstown?
No.
Xavier's about to go there. It's a minute left. They're about to go to double overtime against Marquette. This has been.
I hate us.
It's terrible. A very terrible year for Xavier
Dude,
fans.
just real quick, tickets were going for as low as $3 for Xavier today.
Drink responsibly.
That's all you need to know. Never in the history of us being Xavier fans have tickets been available for $3 effing.
This has been a fantastic show. Ended on a real sour note, but let's go back to the beginning. Reds are going to the playoffs. There we go. All right, I'm
One more
back.
time, Nick. What?
Nick Castellanos.
Castellanos, Castells. Cool.
Castellanos.
I can't wait to see the sample size improve for his batting stats at Great American Ballpark.
Wait till he
when we
gets to
see it
that
in
5th
this
game. Oh, man, it's going to be fantastic. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so that you know every time we post a new video. Be sure to follow the show in between at Craft Bee Sports. You can follow Scott at ScottyK_Jr. Follow me at Mike Burlon. Follow Joe at JoeGoalie4. You can hit us up on Instagram. Find us on Facebook where we do our regular weekly show on Wednesday nights. Subscribe to us there so that you can see that show go live each and every Wednesday night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
goodbye.